Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're from Sandelee. The action is up in a row right off the bat. We got a rider up and down. We are racing. Good afternoon from Sandelee Speedway, just west of Richmond, Ontario. We've got motocross for you, and we got some great riding right off the bat. You see number 73, Paul Taylor, jumped to an early lead. Number 832, Todd Davidson, dropped his bike. He's going to be a long way behind, and all of a sudden, he's on his way, but he's got a lot of catching up to do. Todd Davidson, one of our leading riders here, so we'll have to watch Todd and see if he can close the gap. Number 73 is an early leader. Number 73, the early leader in this race, Paul Taylor on a Honda. We got a couple of more riders down, and I'll tell you, the action is fast and furious as we get started with our 250 junior class here at Sandelee Speedway. Down on the far side, through a bit of a section of the track we call the Wump. A bit of a rough ride this afternoon. It has been raining here at Sandelee, and the track is a little bit tacky. The sand really does mud up pretty quickly here, and dust for sure will not be a problem this afternoon. Early leader on the far side, Paul Taylor, takes up into the high hill on the far end, crosses back down and heads down to the backside of the track. Beautiful shot of the hill at the far end of the racetrack as the riders come up and through their Kawasaki, then a Honda, and then away they go down on the far side. You can see we've got a number of spectators with us here this afternoon. Made the Father's Day drive out to Sandelee to join us. We'll look now to the hill beside the announcer's tower, and the first lead bike will be number 73 as he hits the hill. Here he comes now, number 73, Paul Taylor. And wow, has Paul ever opened up an early lead? 39, right in behind him, Dave McDonald, followed by number 53, Mark Godam. So there are your top three riders. Number 73 is Paul Taylor, and he goes through and completes lap number 1. Number 50 is Tom Crawford. Number 91, Mark Bennett, and number 71, Lloyd Brown. Number 20, ridden this afternoon, and I lost the name on that one. I apologize for that. We do not have a number 20 on our sheet this afternoon. We go back to the far side. We certainly have a number 73, Paul Taylor on the Honda, and he's opened up an early lead. Boy, he's really blown this one open very quickly. The rest of the riders go through the Wumps on the far side, and you've got a couple of Suzukis giving chase now. 250 junior class, first race of the afternoon, Sunday, June the 16th. Sandelee, where we have Supercross, outside stadium-style motocross. Sandelee, of course, is a participant in the Eastern Ontario motocross circuit, and we've been featuring race dates here all summer long. We take a break after today, and we don't race at Sandelee until September the 15th. 2 races in the fall, September the 15th and October the 6th, at Sandelee Moto Park, 4 miles west of Richmond, a 20-minute drive west of the Ottawa city limits. And we look back now to the tower side, beside my announcing position, and you'll get a shot now as our lead rider, number 73, Paul Taylor, brings it on over, and he has really opened an excellent lead. He goes into the post turn, comes around, and heads for the start-finish line. An excellent race there right now for these second 2 bikes, and look what happens. Number 39, Dave McDonald, has a slight lead over Mark Godin right now, but we will watch those 2 riders as we get into some excellent racing for the second and third spot. Number 50, Tom Crawford, tucked in behind, but the real race right now is for second and third. Paul Taylor on the Honda Taylor is riding this afternoon, is your early leader, and we got a pair of Suzukis, and it is a little slippy out there, and it's causing a little bit of discomfort for the riders as they kick around, and that's what can happen right there. Our Kawasaki got stuffed, but he's up and he's okay, and he's right back into it. That is number 91, Mark Bennett, and Mark Bennett recovered very nicely there and got himself back into the race. Your leader hitting the big hill at the far end of the course, number 73, Paul Taylor on the Taylor Honda, and right in behind him a pair of Suzukis. Here they come now, and they hit it together. Well, no, there's a bit of a space there now, and we have a bit of a gap opening up. Godam back in third, giving chase. Dave McDonald, number 39, in second spot. Mark Godin won the first heat here this afternoon. Todd Davidson, number 832, finished second in the first one, so we'll have to watch and see if Todd can close the gap. Some good riding through the whoops there. They have one big jump, and then, of course, down the other end of the course they go. We'll watch now for the action beside the tower, and here comes your lead rider. Taylor once again, and a fairly sizable gap before you get to Mark Godin, who has grabbed second spot away from number 39, Dave McDonald. So Godin is up into second spot. McDonald third, followed by number 50, Tommy Crawford, who is now running up in fourth position. In fifth position right now, number 91, Mark Bennett on the Bennett Kawasaki, followed by number 71, Lloyd Brown, a very consistent rider here at Sandelee. Number 60, Mark Lebrec, has an excellent ride going back in the middle of the pack. On the far side, you have number 73, your leader, Paul Taylor. Paul Taylor finished seventh in the first moto this afternoon, so he has really opened up a ride here this afternoon. He's got the lead in this second moto, and he's delighted, I'm sure, to be in that position and not having to suck back any mud that may be flying off the tires of other bikes. Lots of action all the way around the course. Good riding going on all around the course. We go back to your leader on the far side, number 73. And Paul Taylor is really showing the rest of the riders what it's all about. Number 53, Mark Godin, went down, and Mark, of course, was running second at the time. His bike is down. He can't seem to get that other bike kicked in. He's getting a little assistance there now. But Godin is down, and by golly, he's not going to be too pleased with that. He's got it up, and he's ready to roll now. Number 53, he's got to kick it in and give himself a bit of distance so he can jump to the hill. Now over we go. Paul Taylor, your leader, number 73. And Paul Taylor is really by himself now. He's opened it right up as he comes in and goes past the start-finish line and starts off on his next lap. We'll watch him and follow him around if we can up that first big hill. And a nice smooth ride down. A second jump, and riding it all the way through, and riding fairly conservatively now. He is aware of the lead that he's opened up. Paul Taylor. In our overall point standing, Paul Taylor is having a fairly successful year. Although he doesn't show in the top 10 of riders, he's making great strides right now, and I'll tell you, if he continues to ride the way he is right now, Paul Taylor will not be long getting into the top 10 riders here at Sandelee. It's got to be a real thrill for him then to be riding and doing as well as he is right now, out in that first position with a very smooth ride going. He can ride with a lot of sense now and know that he's got a fairly safe chance of nailing down a win. There are a couple of bikes starting to give him chase, though, and it'll be interesting to follow as these riders go through. Number 73. Paul Taylor. That's number 53, Mark Godin. Mark was up in the second spot, but he's fallen off the pace now, dropping his bike on the far side. He's really going to have to go now to get himself back in position. He's dropped a number of spaces. There you see Mark. And as Paul Taylor comes over here now, number 73, he will receive the white flag, which will indicate 1 lap to go. And right on his tail is Dave McDonald on the Suzuki. 1 lap to go now. Can Paul Taylor hold on? As you've got number 39, Dave McDonald, and number 50, Tom Crawford, on the same lap, tucked right in behind. Number 91, Mark Bennett, as well, back in fourth spot, but certainly on the same lap as we follow your leader, number 73, Paul Taylor, on the ride around for the last time in this first moto of the afternoon's program. A warm welcome to our friends from Skyline Productions who are recording this event for us this afternoon for showing on both Skyline and Ottawa Cablevision. Community involvement, boy, I'll tell you, for people that are involved in work like I am, and has a pleasure to work for Skyline, just to bring the community some highlights of activities that are happening in the sporting world. Paul Taylor, number 73 on a Honda, has a very nice lead opened up. We're following him now as he goes around. He'll hit that big hill in the far end of the course, bring it on down, and head to the backside of the racetrack. And there you see the race for second and third. It's a dandy as those two bikes are right together. And the Kawasaki of number 91, Mark Bennett as well. Steve Fode giving the rest of the riders the white flag, letting them know there's one lap to go, as we watch for the leader, who should be coming our way in just a second to the jump to the right of the announcer's tower. We're just waiting now to see what comes our way. Should be number 73, if all is well. Yes, it is. Paul Taylor. And look at this. We are into a real dogfight here. We got three bikes all together to finish this one up fourth, counting the number 91 bike. But a first checkered flag for Paul Taylor, 39 and 50. So you've got Dave McDonald, followed by number 50, Tom Crawford, followed by number 91, Mark Bennett. As the rest of our 250 juniors head this way to complete a very good 250 junior race. Number 60 goes by. Mark Lebrecq and the rest of our riders pick up the checkered flag, and it's been a good afternoon of racing. There you see number 832 rather. That's Todd Davidson, and it's unfortunate that Todd dropped the bike because he is a rider who really likes to be into the thick of things. As a matter of fact, he is running third overall in points right now in the Eastern Ontario Motocross Circuit, sitting with 95 points. Second race of this afternoon's program is a senior mini race. And we'll have it underway just as soon as the rest of our 250 juniors finish up. Senior minis, number 162, Corey Bonvy on a Kawasaki. Number 30, Calvin Tucker on a Suzuki. 929, Kevin Nixon on a Yamaha. Number 11, Rob Goff on a Yamaha. 411, Steve Jensen on a Honda. Number 77, Bruce Morty on a Honda. 888, Anthony Chown, Kawasaki. 310, Tommy Parker, Kawasaki. Number 4, Richard Cowan, Yamaha. Number 8, Greg Ringham, Yamaha. And number 43, Mike Edmonds on a Yamaha. Senior mini race, 6 laps, and you watch these riders go. This is Brian Googe coming to you from Sandelee with race number 2 of our program this afternoon. And senior minis, 80cc bikes, and you watch these guys run. They are some competitive, as Anthony Chown rarely gets it out of the hole very quickly, and right off the bat gets that big jump, the big lead. And we'll watch them as they come around. There's another Kawasaki of Corey Bonvy on the outside. Check that. That's Tommy Parker, number 310. And look at the race for third and fourth. Whoa, we got one down. He's okay. Everybody doing just fine as they get up and over. That's number 77. Bruce Morty on the Honda dropped it right before the start-finish line, but he's up and he's okay, and he's on his way. Anthony Chown, number 888. Tommy Parker, number 310. Good bit of riding. Number 411, Steve Jensen, and then 162, Corey Bonvy. 929, Kevin Nixon, who is your overall points leader in this class right now, with 165 points on the circuit so far this year, followed by Corey Bonvy, Steve Jameson, Rob Goff, and Anthony Chown, who's sitting back right now in 5th spot overall in points, but in this particular race has an excellent lead right there. The age of these particular riders, of course, 11 years old to about 15, and some of them don't stay, I don't think, until they're quite 15. If they get really good, they move up to the 125 junior class. But this is where they really do start to hone their skills as we follow these senior mini riders on through the course. The big hill at the far end, up and down. And they'll head out of that and head our way. Here we go. We do have a rider down on the far side. He's just catching his breath. and we'll send someone out to check him. I believe he's okay. We have a flagger down there just checking things out, but we'll get some help out to him right away. It is number 162, I believe it is, Corey Bonvy. Perhaps we'll watch and see what we've got on the far side, as we've got number 888. 888 is Anthony Chown, and he's on his way. Checking out number 162. Number 310 is Tommy Parker going through in second spot, and number 411 is going through in third spot. There you have your leader, number 888, Anthony Chown, and Anthony just cuts a very smart line here this afternoon. And Anthony Chown is up and okay, and he's back into the race. So he's doing fine. He's got a bit of a sore arm, I understand, but he's going to be just fine. Here we go. Anthony Chown down the far side. He'll head to the inside berm, and he cuts into the inside. He moves to the outside, and then he'll head for the big hill. A nice lead opened up very, very quickly. 125 Junior A's and experts are getting ready. We'll have that race immediately following this one, and the experts really put on an expert show here as well, and we'll be pleased to bring you that one at the conclusion of this senior mini race. Your leader, number 888, Anthony Chown, has a beautiful lead opened up there. And Corey Bonvy goes through. Corey Bonvy presently second overall in points, as I was saying, and right now he's going to have to do some real riding to get himself caught up. We have another down rider on the far side, but I think he's got more mechanical problem than he has a hurt or anything, so we'll just keep our eyes on him and see if he gets back into this one as well. Looking for our leader right now. That's not the leader. That's Corey Bonvy trying to close the gap. The leader just came over by the tower, and what a beautiful shot as you see Anthony Chown on his way through. Past our mobile camera in the infield and heading for the start-finish line. Anthony Chown, 888 Kawasaki, and an excellent ride going for sure. Tommy Parker is right into this one, running second right now, followed by number 411, Steve Jensen. So Tommy Parker running second, Steve Jensen running third, and 929, Mr. Steady, that's Kevin Nixon, in fourth spot. Rider number 11, Rob Goff, and Rob Goff is a much improved rider as well. He and a younger brother, I believe, Craig, who's running junior mini right now, but doing an excellent job. On the far side, you see your leader, Anthony Chown, and he just has such a smooth ride going right now. Well-tuned, another one of those teams where both father and son race. Father runs in the veteran class that we'll be showing later on, although I don't believe he's running this afternoon. All by himself on the far side there right now. And Anthony up and down off the far hill and doing a very good job there. And he cuts over into the backside of the track. Here we come now to the far side. You'll be watching as our number 2 rider, Anthony Parker, and number 411, Steve Jensen, head that way. 43 is the down rider, Mike Edmonds, and he's bringing his bike in right now. Here goes your leader, number 888, Anthony Chown. Moto's on by. And if I'm not mistaken, he'll get the halfway flag this time through. There's referee-in-chief, Steve Fode, giving him the sign there right now. Halfway for your lead rider, number 888, Anthony Chown. A Kawasaki that has performed very steadily for Anthony. And Tommy Parker over, and Kevin Nixon has grabbed an extra spot now. Kevin Nixon has moved up into the third spot, and he's about to give chase to number 310. And he's trying to close the door on number 310 as Anthony Chown. Whoa, we got a rider down. And he says, don't worry about me, Mrs. P. I'm okay. Watch me pick up my bike and go at it. There's Kevin Nixon, number 929. Interestingly, the lady that went to help him, of course, Mrs. Parker, is the mother of number 310 that just went on his way through. Very fast bit of riding. This is really competitive here this afternoon. And maybe we run into a problem now as that bike, Kevin gets himself turned around. Looks like he's got to straighten up his handlebars, but he's okay, and he's on his way down the far side. Some excellent riding, and you can see them get right back up and go at it as well. And they go at it full bore as if they really do shake off those sudden falls very quickly and get themselves back into the race. On the far hill now, we're just waiting for that Kawasaki of Tommy Parker to come up and over. There he goes. And down the far side. Tommy Parker running second right now to 888 Anthony Chown. And Tommy's got a little time to look around and see what else is happening. There goes your leader past the tower, and he'll go on now to the start-finish line. Anthony Chown, 888. What an excellent ride Anthony's got going. Your leader. Nice smooth jump. And there's a huge space now between our leader and our second-place bike. Anthony Chown on the far side. He'll come into a couple of little turns. Whoops, he does a little stutter step there and pulls it around, brings it round and heads for these little wumps, I like to call them, as the bikes go up and down in a rather shallow way. And as the riders have worn that hill down this afternoon, there's some good racing right here at the start-finish line. And we got a pair of bikes coming our way. It's 411 and 11. And just some excellent riding as they go through the start-finish line. 411, the bike ridden by Steve Jensen, grabs a bit of a space between himself and number 11, Rob Goff. A real improved rider, Rob Goff is. And his younger brother, Craig, will be running a junior mini a little later this afternoon. Much improved as well. Just getting into the sport of motocross. The riders, of course, run almost every weekend somewhere on the circuit. Here at Sandelee, we have had, this is our fourth race date so far this year, and we've had good turnout of riders. Look at the riding right there. As we sneak in the back door there as number 162 tries to grab a couple of positions off. Here goes your leader, number 888, Anthony Chown, and Anthony will pick up a white flag this time, telling him he's got one lap to go. Number 77 coming down behind him as well. Number 77, Bruce Morty, and Bruce will get the one-lap flag as well. Here we go. .888, your leader, going down on the far side of the course. Good bit of racing. Anthony Chown heading your way now. And the camera, of course, is doing an excellent job this afternoon of picking up our leaders and showing you just the kind of quality riders that we have, particularly in our senior mini class that we're showing you right now. We have a 125 expert class ready to go right after this race. And I'll tell you, these guys really do put on a show, and it's something that I know you'll enjoy watching. All right, now Tommy Parker goes through. 929, Kevin Nixon goes through. As we watch for the leader, he's at the far end of the course, and we'll just follow him around now as he brings it all the way around on his last lap. Number 888, Anthony Chown. Here they come. He's into the backside of the track. He's got himself a good, easy ride going now, having built up enough space that he doesn't have a problem with the lead. He just has to ride sensibly now to finish it up. 162, and check that, 162 is Corey Bonvie, and Corey is down a lap. And he'll be with us in just a second, but here comes your leader now. 888 Anthony Chown is coming across now. He'll make the last turn before he dashes for home. 888 Anthony Chown picks up a beautiful win here this afternoon. There it is, checkered flag. And another senior mini race winds down at Sandelee. Number 77, Bruce Morty, on his way around, and Bruce will pick up the flag as well. And the rest of our riders go on through to finish this one up. Bruce Morty comes through, number 77 on the Honda. Not many Hondas with us, particularly in the junior classes. A heavy concentration of Kawasaki's and Yamahas in the senior mini bikes being 80 cc's or under. But the competition has gotten so good that you really can't be competitive on anything less than an 80 cc bike in schoolboy. Greg Ringham going through and finishing up. As the rest of our minis, there you have number 11 as well. He'll pick up his checkered flag. Rob Goff. Number 310, Tommy Parker, comes across and will pick up a third. Kevin Nixon will come across, I believe, and pick up fourth overall. Senior mini race comes to a conclusion. And we got something for you in just a moment once we get our senior minis through. .125 Junior A's and Experts. We run literally two races at the same time. You'll see number 509, Pete North on a Yamaha. 524, Andy Bonvie on a Yamaha. 124, Richard Clark on a Yamaha. Number 83, Randy Leach on the Honda. 147, Chris Shipclark on a Yamaha. And 505, John Chartron on a Yamaha. All start the race as experts, and then right behind them you'll see four Junior A riders. Jeff Quilty, number 357, number 12, Jeff McLeod, both of those riders riding Kawasaki. Craig Smith on a Yamaha, number 430, and number 2, David Maloney on a Suzuki. Now, because there are only a few bikes in both classes, we do combine them, but they are scored separately, and riders earn their points separately as well because they are two classes. In actual fact, the Junior A's run for trophies. The experts run for part of the gate on a payback basis, and I'll tell you, they are some competitive when you add a few dollars into the competition. This should be a dandy, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get you a really good start here. You see just a corner of the announcer's tower. No, check that. That's where our lap score is. I work from the outside of the track and get a pretty good view of the whole track so I can bring you the action. And we're just about ready to start. We have a start of our experts. Here we go. They're on their way. And you'll see Steve give them a sign in just a second. All right, now, 125 experts. Follow this action around. Chartrand, and oh, look at Shipclark right off the bat. He powers it all the way around. Chris Shipclark gets an early lead. Chartrand and Richard Clark, and here we go. It's action time. Racing 125 experts on their way. 125 Junior A's, who are just a little bit of talent shy of getting to be experts, but they'll be there before very long. The action leader, number 147, Chris Shipclark. John Chartron tucked in right behind him. Richard Clark tucked in behind him. And watch them as they go through those berms. Chris Shipclark, your leader right now, and he goes down on the far side, and he will try to open it up very early if he can, but he's got a good class of rider with him there, and they'll stay right with him as long as they can. Shipclark, an expert rider, young 16-year-old who just loves to compete. On the far side, he brings it over the hill and heads into the tall hill at the far end of the course. And you can see the other riders are not that far off the pace. There goes Chris, and he's on his way down onto the inside. The riders are going full bore here this afternoon as we follow them along into the action on this very exciting 125 expert race. 125 experts and Junior A's all running together. I need 411 senior minutes on the Honda. Rider number 411 on a Honda. Number 411, Steve Jensen. If you would report, please, to the referee-in-chief. Here you have number 147, Chris Shipclark, sneaking a peek over his shoulder. And on his way down and finishes lap number 1, John Chartrand right behind him. And Andy Bonvie tucked right in there as well. So a good race right off the bat. Pete North, number 430, is Craig Smith, who's one of the leading Junior A riders. The leader, Chris Shipclark, really rides well as he puts it through. John Chartrand, you've got Andy Bonvie, Richard Clark, and number 83, Randy Leach. On the far side, action all along that far side of the track as they head after the leader, Chris Shipclark, who has really opened this one up very, very early. He picks up the pace now, Shipclark does. Chartrand right behind him. Andy Bonvie behind him, and in fourth spot, 122, Richard Clark. We have a rider down, number 509 rather, is a down rider, Pete North, and he's receiving some attention now as they help him on that far side. An injured rider is Pete North, number 509, and they've gone to give him some assistance right now. Very quickly, the ambulance gets over and gives assistance to the rider. The bike is back up, and they will just check Pete North and make sure he's okay. We have first aid facilities, of course, right here at Sandelee, as number 147, Chris Shipclark, keeps on doing what he has to do, and that, of course, is ride. And Shipclark has the lead, but we've got some excellent racing right in behind him. We'll try to show you that and the excellent race and the second, third, and fourth bikes that are right together. You've got Chartrand, followed by Bonvie, followed by Clark, and they'll put them up and over. And a beautiful bit of racing going on that far side as you watch Chris Shipclark really power through those little S's and into the wumps. And here we go now. He's starting to clear the alternate wumps, and he only hits 2 or 3 of them as he motors on past and goes into the berm on the far side of the track. He's inside right, and then he comes inside on the left side, and then he heads for the large hill. On the far side now, he heads for the long jump hill and clears it very nicely, coming over and heads now to his left and hits the hill on the far end of the course. Up and around, and then he'll bring her down full power as he comes down and moves into the back side of the racetrack. 3 riders right on his tail. They're going after him right now. Another down rider, number 12, Jeff McLeod. And Jeff McLeod is giving the goggles a wrap there to try to get himself back in. He's got the goggles on, and he's going to join us and be on his way right now. Maybe not. He's having a few mechanical problems there. We'll see if he can kick in. Yes, he is on his way, getting a visor out. And away we go, up and around. Your leader, number 147, Chris Shipclark, has really opened it up. But we have an excellent race here now. An excellent race between John Chartrand. Richard Clark has moved up into 3rd spot. Andy Bonvie is in 4th as they come to the start-finish line. Whoa, good bit of racing. Watch him as they go to the hill. Richard Clark has stolen another position, so Clark is up into 2nd spot, and it's his job right now to head out and see if he can shut the door on Chris Shipclark, rather. In the meantime, he's got John Chartrand to worry about, who is right on his tail, along with number 524, Andy Bonvie. In an earlier race this afternoon, Bonvie and Clark got tied together, and Richard lost some valuable space, so I'm sure he's quite happy to be running in front of Andy Bonvie right now. Your leader, number 147, Chris Shipclark. And Chris has an excellent ride going now, and it seems to me as I watch Chris Shipclark week to week, as he opens up the lead, he continues to press. He likes to be competitive, and he builds in a lot of speed in all parts of his racing, even though he might have a lead opened up that would mean he could ease up a little bit. That's not his way of racing. A nice shot of the spectators who are with us this afternoon. We've had an excellent afternoon of racing. All 4 weeks here at Sandelee have been excellent, and we're most appreciative of the folks who come on out and join us at Sandelee. Your leader comes over the hill by the tower and motos on through, 147, Chris Shipclark. And there we go with Richard Clark tucked right in behind John Chartrand and number 524, Andy Bonvie, as these guys really do put out. They've got to give chase now to number 147. And that is not something that's new to them, because Chris Shipclark often does get the big lead and forces everyone else to join with him to try to catch him. You can get an idea of the space there. It's fairly sizable now, the length of the, almost the length of the pit row on the far side. Clark goes through, and we follow the rest of the riders as they go around the course. Richard Clark, who is the second place rider right now, and right behind Richard, I believe Andy Bonvie is right there as well. John Chartrand is right there. And these fellas really do get competitive after a while. In this case, they've been running together for a number of years, and gives great pleasure to win a race or even come second or third and beat the fellas that you normally run against. On the far side, we have a Kawasaki, number 357, Jeff Quilty. As Jeff goes through part of the course, number 12 goes past the tower, Jeff McLeod, and Jeff McLeod has the dubious distinction of being lapped by your lead rider, number 147, Chris Shipclark. Okay, now, Shipclark goes through. He's had the halfway sign. We are halfway through, and he really kicks it up over there. Some great camera shots for you this afternoon. We have a mobile camera moving around the course with us this afternoon, a nice addition, and you get some very exciting shots from it. 147, Chris Shipclark, as he leans in and gets ready, and you can see how he tries to clear with the minimum amount of fuss those bumps on the far side. On his way down, and he's really opened up that lead now over the bike that he's just lapped as well, as he continues into the berms at the far side of the course and heads for the long hill down in the bushes. A very natural setting for bikes to run here at Sandelee, with lots of greenery, and our trails cut through the open areas here, and provides for some excellent relaxation for the spectators who come on out to Sandelee on a regular basis and join us. On the far side, we'll follow number 2, David Maloney on a Suzuki, who is going down what we call pit row, as we have the leader come back our side, number 147, Chris Shipclark, who goes right past and heads for the start-finish line and beyond Steve Fode. Big lead opened up now. Richard Clark, 122, running second, and Clark has opened up the gap between he and John Chartrand. Chartrand and Bonvie running fairly competitively right now. As a matter of fact, it looks like number 524, Andy Bonvie, is just about ready to make a move. Some excellent riding as Chris Shipclark shows us his winning way. He's been a very successful young rider. Number 83, Randy Leach. Randy is an expert, but a little bit out of position on this one right now. He's running fairly well back. As a matter of fact, back with a couple of the seniors right now. .147. Excellent ride going on. Just waiting now for the leader, 147, to come over the jump beside the tower, and he'll be heading this way in just a moment. There he goes, Chris Shipclark. Just a beautiful ride. Shipclark all by himself as he goes through. And we have a little race coming for you right after this one. It'll be our junior mini class. Riders who are 10, 11 years old, just getting their first start at motocrossing. And number 12 throws the hand up and lets the faster bikes go through. And we do have a dandy one going here as we follow Shipclark. And he's got that bike stretched out now. He hits off the first of the lumps and lands on the third, takes the fourth and fifth. Into the berm. In one side and out the other side. Excellent bit of riding, Chris. The long hill. And I would say from that jump he set off a little bit. He realized he's in good shape and there's no use pushing too much harder than you really have to in order to preserve this bike. A lot of dollars invested on a weekly basis for these riders, particularly your expert riders, to keep the bikes competitive. Number 430, Craig Smith, the junior rider, and Craig's really come a long way. Well, before long, we'll earn his expert rating as well, I'm sure. Here we go now. Oh, and MxPark really has a beautiful, beautiful jump side on there. We just missed a shot that I'm sure we'll catch in the last lap. But MxPark is really, really turning it on right now. As he starts to get a little bit of height, you'd almost think you'd heard what I said about letting off a little bit, because he's really increased the jumping ability. At least he's demonstrating a lot more jumping ability this afternoon than he was showing us a little earlier in this race. 122, Richard Clark, our second place rider, as we follow Chris around. And he's a little out of shape there, but he brings it under control. And he's really riding hard into those lumps on the far side, and it makes it an interesting challenge, because if you lose your rhythm at all, you really are in trouble in a short order. And the bike can come out from under you, of course. So watch Chris here as he heads up the long hill on the far side and lays it over and brings it on down and heads to hill number 2, which is a sharp turn to the right. As he cranks it around, the foot goes out, and he crosses down behind and into the bush behind the tower. Craig Smith, number 430, the young fellow I was talking about earlier, really got himself a good ride going. He's running as a junior A, but before very long, at the rate he's going, he'll be acquiring his expert status as well. Craig Smith, number 430. Here we go. Now there's a shot of Chris as he really has it turned on here. He will pick up the white flag this time around. The white flag will tell him he has one lap to go. Steve Fold holds it out. And here we go. Now this young fellow often really puts on a show in the last lap. Let's watch what he does here as he brings it up nice and easily. Down and around. Richard Clark, you just heard motoring past me. Chris MxPark, all by himself. And he'll practice now. He'll go through these bumps and just get things back in order. He lost a little bit of time on the last one. So, he's always mindful of the line he takes and the quality of ride he can get out of his machine. Berm number 2. And he'll head for the long hill now. Here we go. And let's follow him up the hill this time and see what kind of a jump we get off the top of it. All right, he leans it on over and brings it down. Chris MxPark, number 147. Stands up and has a little look as he goes by. And down the far side. The next time we see him, he'll be coming over the jump just to the right of the tower, and it doesn't take him very long. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, to the hill, and you get MxPark bringing it on over. That's Jeff Quilty. Here comes Chris. All right, right up there, and he pulls her back a little bit. He always seems to know when the camera's on, I'll tell you, he comes right at it. As he heads for the checkered flag, and the fans around the start-finish line put their hands together and congratulate Chris MxPark, number 147. Follow us along now, number 122, Richard Clark. And Richard's coming for second place finish. Here comes Richard. Will finish second. John Chartrand will pick up a third. And an excellent bit of racing for our 125 experts as they finish up and take the checkered flag from Steve Fode, our referee-in-chief. Number 524 on your screen right now, Andy Bondy, followed by number 83, Randy Leach's Honda. And Randy really gets himself out there. Sandelee Racing will return shortly with the Junior Minis. We'll be back momentarily.
It is arraigned. He pleads not guilty. The Crown called their witnesses. In the usual shoplifting case, it would be the security guard, perhaps the cashier. The item would be described or filed with the court. The description would usually result in the accused left the store without paying for the item having been concealed in his pocket, perhaps. The accused then is faced with a situation where if they do not testify, they will be most likely convicted. The accused then brings their witnesses to the stand, perhaps in the usual case themselves. They testify.
Two-way communications for the community. Ottawa Cablevision, Cable Channel 12, serving the residents of Ottawa.
Junior Mini racing is for young lads 10 and 11 years old who are just getting started in racing. Bring umbrellas or sun umbrellas with them anyway, and they just sit back and relax and enjoy the fresh air in the countryside as they watch motocross at its very finest. Okay, now here we go. We're talking about your leader, Dave Chartrand, number 505. J.D. Gustus tucked right in behind him. Number 24, Stan Ziba, who is presently the points leader in the Enduro class, tucked right in behind J.D. Number 880, ridden by Steve Tucker, and number 271, Bob Moran. So a lot of the veterans right up here. Bill Murray is number 65, and number 311, Mike Poole. Number 36 is Jim Numbers. Jim Numbers hanging right in there. Number 72, Keith Johnson on a Yamaha. 79 is Derek Ferguson. And number 51, Robin Tyler. On the far side, you see your leader. On the far side, you've got Dave Chartrand. And J.D. Gustus tucked right in behind him. So we're going to have the real race before this one's all over. The race that follows this one this afternoon is our 250 senior and expert race. It'll be the last one of the afternoon as you watch number 505. Your leader right now, Dave Chartrand. And there's a real bike family. Boy, I'll tell you, these guys love to run. J.D. Gustus, who's joined the circuit this year. He's from Saskatoon and running in the Ontario area and doing a great job. He's already won one race here this afternoon and is really in contention for this one as he sits in second spot right now. The rest of your Enduro and veteran pack are in the back of the part of the course right now. They'll be heading our way in just a moment. You see one of the Yamahas, the big blue machines up and over.